Hey everyone, it is Stephanie Lodge, and I am welcoming you in with my friend Michele Mimi Cynthia. We are so excited to be here for my first episode officially of Angel Hugs, which right now is streaming on my Facebook page, my YouTube channel, Angelic Academy, which I highly recommend subscribing, as well as Mimi, because we're going to go with Mimi. Mimi's beautiful group, basically, or page called Spiritual Empath on Facebook as well. So we're kind of just going everywhere, and we're here to give you some hugs. We're here to just give you support in what I call healing universal or unresolved grief. And that's what hug means to me. And she was kind enough to introduce me to her community. So Mimi, I just want to say thank you so much. I so appreciate you. And you are the author of a beautiful book around the 7 stages of grief. And why is it escaping me? What's the title of it? It's an E. Why is that escaping me? What's your title of your book, please?
What are we here for? We're going to embrace Hug
Thank you.
Angel.
How ironic. So embrace is such a beautiful acronym, right? It stands for different things. Do you want to talk about a little bit about that so people can find out more about you and what you do as helping people as the grief warrior, right? You're known as the grief warrior, like I'm the hug angel. So tell me a little bit about that.
So the grief warrior was birthed after many, many years of going through a very intense healing journey after I lost my 18-year-old son in 2005 from a 5-year battle of cancer. And so I have finally this past year taken accountability of my sovereignty. Mimi, also known as the grief warrior. And so embrace, oh, I had downloads like through those years of going through my healing journey. It's like, what am I doing and what can I share uh, with the world as far as like this journey that we're going through, not necessarily just grief, because there's a culmination of layers of grief that we all collectively embrace.
Exclamation point on that. My dryer just went off. So I'm like, oh, there we go. Angel signals, I always call them. Yeah, no, you're right. There's many different layers to this.
So the 7 stages consist of, the number 7, you've got the 7 chakras, you've got the 7, the number 7. I know you're really into numerology. If you could drop a nugget on what the number 7 might mean in relation to this 7 stage, and then
Mm-hmm.
I think we have 7 ley lines that go across the world. So the 7 time, yeah. So I can talk about numbers like you all day long, but like embrace, E, express, M, meditate, be present, R, rejuvenate, A, awaken, C, connect, and E, eat healthy. So if we can do one of those one day a week, we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
It will eventually be like in order for us to come together in our journey for self-awareness, it's the consistency of working the stages.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's interesting. This week especially has been really, the grief factor has been really up in my business. Around the womb, around mothering, around giving birth, giving life to something new, and the creative expression of the feminine, and clearing out the fear of that, actually. And I
You
think
talked
right
about,
now
I'm
when I look
sorry to
at
interrupt, but you talked about that the other day.
mm-hmm. and it's interesting. Well, one of the things I want to say, so I'm all about embracing and hugging. I'm known as the hug angel. I realize some people don't know who I am, so I should probably tell you who I am. I'm Stephanie Lodge, and I'm known as a harmonic shaman, angelic shaman, Magdalene mystic. I've worked with angels as far as channeling and intuiting, communicating for them for almost 20 years or over 20 years, really. So I've had a lot of experience with running energies through my body and healing people and communicating, toning, all of it. And what I find, and I'm speaking mostly to the spiritual empath community right now, is we feel more the more bandwidth we hold, right? The more light we let in, we're going to feel a lot more. And so some people come in with just more bandwidth automatically running. You might think of it as a gift. Some people like not so much. But I tell my clients, they'll say, oh, I'm really energetically sensitive. I feel everything. And I like to kind of rephrase that and say, you're energetically aware. Sensitivity implies that there's a vulnerability in that, and it's actually a strength, right? So when we shift even a degree of how we work our consciousness around these concepts of the emotional stages, right, we can add more fuel to that fire and amplify it to even bigger extents, or we can regulate it and harmonize it so that it serves to go through that emotion of grief, maybe, or in another emotion, but be able to move into a phase of what I call harmony that is almost like your bounce back. Like, what is your bounce rate? I call it. How quickly can you bounce back into an alignment where you are actually able to feel joy again and feel some love again and peace again, instead of moving always through that emotional churn and burn? Because I do believe healing can become an addiction for some people, where they always feel like there's something wrong, I have to heal it. And at some point we get to say, I feel whole enough, right? And so in my work, that's what I'm about. I'm about getting people to a place of deep empowerment by embodying more and more of that frequency, that first frequency of light, of consciousness, of source, God, however you want to word it. So that's my main work. And they called me the Hug Angel because in 2018, I led a group of 50 nations in a group hug I called the Hug Mob at the time, here in Los Angeles, where I am at Agape Spiritual Center. And Reverend Michael Beckwith and others were there, and we were all just gathering this giant group hug. And one of the people there, Dr. Stone, he's known as the Hug Doctor, and he's like, I'm the Hug Doctor. And he goes, and this is the Hug Angel, because he knew I worked with angels and angelic science, really. And so it just stuck. And then one day I said, okay, I'm not a cosplay character, right? Maybe I'm like, what am I doing with this? So it came through that it's a doll. And so part of what we're here to celebrate today is the launch, the official birthday on this 2224. You mentioned numbers, which is a 444 angel day, by the way, it works out, of Hug Angels. And Hug Angel, the first one is Alora. This is her. I'm going to get her in there. Hello, everyone. We're looking this way. And she just does this. So she has these little things that you squeeze and all that stuff. It's weird to be like in mirror. So this is going to be, basically the prototype presentation of her. But my feeling is these are going to be tools of companionship for so many that are dealing with just trauma and drama and grief of what we've been through in the last few years. So I saw this thing, I don't know if you saw it, Mimi, where Elmo made the mistake or not of asking, how's everybody doing, right? And it was just this data dump, this trauma dump from all over the world, in the feed on X, I guess Twitter X, and led to, I think, the Today Show. Larry David squeezed its face, and Elmo was like, what? And he had to apologize to Elmo. It was, I was watching all this going, wow, this is really interesting. So it did bring up, though, the mental awareness piece, which is important because people right now are super struggling with how they feel around the state of the world. There's just a new trauma every other day, it seems like. How are you finding it, in the work that you do, in managing through this embrace, right, process? What part of that embrace is coming up the most, do you think, for us right now as something of a tool?
Express.
Mhm.
express, sharing your voice, speaking your voice, your authentic truth. And, Steph, you are an embodiment of sovereignty. Like, you're just this beacon for these spiritual empaths within this community. And, you know, I was very grateful to have met you a while back, and your energy, your wisdom, your radiance, your gifts. I'm really proud to share it with our community with the Hug Angel
Mm.
because I
Thank
love
you.
it. I believe in it. What you've done, what you've manifested, what you are navigating. And when we spoke about, you know, the bench story, I don't want to like elaborate on it, but the way you talked about it, with you know moms, parents losing a child or not being able to have a child, what does the hug angel mean? What is
Mhm.
the embodiment of this little hug angel? Like, I connect, so it resonates so much for me because I have lost my
Mhm.
son and little ones,
Yeah.
in my journey through this life. And you know, this hug angel just reminds us the importance of anchoring our bringing it into alignment,
Yeah.
navigating life's currents of what is going on today and in the world. And I think that deep connection and empowerment resonates as a symphony of awakening.
Yeah.
And here we are. So with embrace, it culminates a lot of things, and it's the expression, but it's also, one thing for me is about the pause. I don't think enough of us pause enough and are in that present moment of pausing to listen, to understand, and then react.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. And it's I struggled with this. As a child I had a lot of PTSD. So my journey in my home, I had two fathers, right? My mom was my mom, but I had two fathers. One I didn't know until I was 21 years old. Not a lot of people know this part of me, by the way. And the father who raised me wasn't really, my biological father, but he was my father. I mean, I knew him as my father, and it was an interesting relationship. It's like his culture and where he came from. Just there was a different dynamic there that for me as a sensitive, as people would say, a sensitive soul or an empath, I would feel the stress, right, in the home. And my parents both worked in the industry, so there was a lot of ups and downs, as far as financial highs, financial lows. There would be strikes, there would be things. But I always really didn't have this strong foundation of security, right? And I was an only child, so I had to be my own security in many ways. And there just wasn't a whole lot of feeling safe. I'll just be honest, because I just never know. I was feeling much more than I knew what I was feeling, right? And so to get out of that, or to come out of that, and then at 21 find out I had a whole other father, that was interesting. But to move through all these phases of my life to get to the point I am now, I like to tell people, you're like a diamond. You're going to go through that pressure, right? And then the cuts, and I call them soul scars, and that's going to make you a more radiant gem when you get to that place in your life where you're refining and polishing. And I see everyone is having like this diamond heart. This is the symbol on the doll, by the way. She has this diamond heart concept, right? And that's because we all have these facets that are so interesting, that give us character, that really stem from all areas of our life, from our childhood and young adulthood and all the awkwardness. And we've all been through different things. And I think the common denominator of everybody, first of all, is their light. The common denominator is their soul, of what it comes from. Before you put on this physical form, you come from the light. And that is what I know, your frequency first, your intelligence of consciousness first. And so for me right now, it's really important as a message to the world to um, give people permission to grieve. As the grief warrior, it's like such a beautiful mission because it is a fight sometimes to allow ourselves to cry without apology. So many times people start crying, they're like, oh, I'm so sorry, and they're covering their mouth and they're covering their face and what have you, right? And there's shame in it. There's such a program of shame in the tears. And I tell people it is a healing salve to the soul when you cry. It is light expressing itself into form, this crystallized light tears, the energy of it, saline, it holds intelligence. There's something there to really embrace, to use the word again, as one of the greatest gifts we have is to connect through the power of grief because everybody's had it. There's a universal grief that everybody shares in, and now more than ever. I mean, whether we look at the last 3 years between COVID and all the warfares going on, the losses, in Maui and other places, Turkey. I mean, there's so many things, right? So my mission, and I know part of your mission is really to give something to the children, to like tools and ways for these kids to get through life, without feeling overwhelmed and without feeling like they don't have faith for their future anymore. I think this is the biggest thing we're looking at right now. But yeah, that's my mission with Hug Angels is they're going to be meditation companions because they're going to have crystals inside their bellies. They're going to have speakers that go in them too, to guide people through meditations and empowerment exercises and stories and teachings, wisdom teachings, through an app, Angel Hugs, that's why the show is called Angel Hugs. There'll be a process, that people will learn from and find ways to support each other in community as well. So I'm really excited about that part of it. But that's my stream. And what I was going to share with you is, for me specifically, because I'm always in this high bandwidth stream of consciousness, it's just either buffering or streaming. That's just how I operate. I resonate as a child, nobody listened to me. So I have a lot to say now. And I jokingly say, well, I am a channel for angels and angels are messengers. So here you go. But I hear you, in terms of taking the pause. So I'm going to pause now and get your reflection. If there was anything there that stood out for you.
I love listening. I love listening to you because I know what it feels like not to be listened to.
Yeah.
A lot of the a lot of the experiences that I go through, well, I don't know if I would call them experiences, but a lot of what I do, I don't know, it's not work. I don't consider this work for me. Like working with young adults
Mm-hmm.
or another grieving mother or I mean, my I don't specifically work with an age group. I work with young teens all the way up to like legendary ages of the silent generation. And they come to me because they resonate some way with my energy. It's not, I guess I'm probably meandering, doing another meandering monologue, as my mother would say to me. We don't want to listen to your meandering monologues again. So I listen because I know what it's like not to be listened to. Um, I can hold that bandwidth.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's why I have this community because I do try my best to hold as much bandwidth for them and that it's a space for them and to allow them to come and express, to maybe be present on, you know, looking at different posts, to rejuvenate their soul, to awaken their soul, to connect. I don't think they can eat healthy on my platform, but you know where I'm going. Like, it's just like dropping nuggets. And
Yeah.
I feel like the nuggets that we should be dropping is our energy of
Mhm.
the embodiment of embracing one another. And when you say, like earlier, you were talking about sensitive, I was on that movie helping produce The Sensitive. Remember when that movie came out? I just got a pop up of all the photos that we did on the red carpet yesterday. I'm like,
Mhm.
I can't believe that. It's a movie called The Sensitive, and it was,
Oh, okay. No, I
um,
haven't heard of it.
ve yeah, I'll send you a link, and,
Mhm.
it's very interesting. It's like a documentary, basically, for the community of empaths. But Hug Angel, let's talk about Hug Angel. What is her name?
Mhm.
Where can we get a hung angel? A hu a hug angel?
So so Hug Angels, this first one is named Laura. So Laura is going to be the first one. Now, keep in mind, this is a prototype. Okay. So she's not exactly perfect, but she's going to be basically this idea with these, wings and that are blanket like, and her body is super smushy. And she's 14 inches. So she's a sizable doll. I'm 6'2", so I'm sitting, but, she's a bigger doll. She's not a small little doll. And the reason for that is because I wanted her to be a bridge not only for children but for adults. I have more adults buying these dolls for themselves than I have people buying them for children, to be honest with you. I think
I
everybody
put
needs
my
a hug.
order in.
Yeah, the inner child, you know, in us, right now, um, needs that. We need connection more than ever. I jokingly say, if we're living a little bit like in the Hunger Games, this is the new Mockingjay because it's a sign of rebellion in some respects when it's like 6 feet apart, don't, all this isolation and separation. And I'm like, we got to do it different. If we want to see this world change and we want to see peace in this world, we have to find the peace within ourselves, and we have to find the peace within our families and within our communities, and find the bridge and figure out how to hug it out, how to get together, how to realize that it's only through that connection, right? And coming back into coherence with each other. Heart coherence is a very big thing, right? When you hug someone for longer than, I believe it's like 28 seconds or something, you come into what's called coherence, where you're both in this rhythm of heartbeat, and it's such a healing thing. They're so underestimated, hugs. I really believe that if we really took time every single day and just hugged ourselves, hugged others, right? Hugged your hug angels, right? We would feel different. Our frequency would shift enough that when we go out in the world, there would be less road rage, there would be less bullying and unkindness. And I just feel that we've had this tolerance now for just horrid behavior, and I'm not going to blame anybody. I think everybody's responsible for that. People will put it on people and say, well, this person gave everybody permission to do that. I'm going to say, you know what? Everybody's accountable for that. We have to stop, blaming on one person and making one person a catalyst, just like we have to stop waiting for a Superman or a savior of any kind to come do this for us. We have to step in, right? We have to step in and take action, and not just give it lip service, like literally take action. So part of what I did with
I
Hug Angels to kind of prove my point. Do you believe that? I mean, do you agree with that?
No, I just wrote the word lip service down because
Hmm.
I get that.
Yeah.
Like, it's not ju like, everybody wants to hear your story and hear,
Yep.
"Oh, what happened?" It's the chaos. It's the
Hmm.
drama. They
Hmm.
wanna know what happened.
Yeah.
Well, this is what happened, and, okay, how can I help you get through that moment of what happened to you? And I have an example, I just don't wanna share it,
Hmm.
publicly what happened, and
Okay.
I shared it with somebody, but one person took action for me and the other one just, like, listened and, like, "Yeah, do you understand what I'm saying?" Like, the lip service
Yeah.
just hit me. I don't know.
Well, I will be honest, it's been an interesting ride with her. And there's always resistance to things that are really going to make impact of light. I know Hug Angel has a much bigger mission than me. And I say her because Allura, this first doll, Allura it means light dreamer, by the way. Um, Allura is designed as the original OG to dream awake new reality through light. If everything's holographic, right? I'm going to go into the science, angelic science for a minute, but if everything is holographic, if everything is starting as frequency first, then we have the power to impact that frequency through light and sound and our piezoelectric magnetic field and all of it, right? And science proves this. This isn't something I'm just saying because it sounds good. This is something proven in science that we affect our realities. So what I believe is happening right now is we have a lot of drama dumping. We have a lot of churning through the mud and the muck of just endless years of trauma and drama that we've had to kind of just get into and clear it out, right? And everybody's doing their part. And the world as a whole right now is going through massive amounts of wound healing, core wound healing. And so as this is happening though, there's always going to be those people who have to stand as what I call these fortresses of frequency, these pillars of strength and light, these towers, right? These bridges, because there's going to be plenty of what I call chaos, the chaos creation, right? The crazy chaos that's going on to keep everybody entertained and busy in the mind. And, oh, I got to put that fire out, or, oh, did you hear about that? And now there's this. And, there's always going to be stuff. And everyone's externally processing their drama and their trauma. And they're doing it on TikTok and they're doing it on Instagram and they're talking about all the stuff that's not
Oh,
working. And then there's the flip. They're the people putting out the hugs and the puppies and the kitties and all the things that they can try to do. Like, here's some love. Here's a donkey, squeezing a rubber chicken. Here's a this, whatever, all this stuff that's funny and trying to bring the joy in. So I see these two elements, right? Grief and joy, grief and joy. They're just kind of tussling it, right? And right now, I also look at, though, the isolation. People have gotten really into the tech. They're diving all up in their screens, to the detriment of their minds and their mental health. And so this is the part where when I was putting Hug Angel together, she just started out as just the doll. And the doll's enough. Love the doll, right? But then I got, let's call it the stream that said, what if you started giving put an app with her and used the best of AI concepts, right? This new tech coming in. And I'm not really doing it as AI, but I'm just saying there's this idea right now, this domination of AI as artificial intelligence. And I always like to say, well, the true AI is the angelic intelligence. But there's a third and a fourth AI, and one of them is advanced intelligence, and one is artistic intelligence. And for me, I feel with Hug Angel, it's the artistic and the advanced. It's this blending of all these worlds where we use the best of the technologies we have to improve our life, to improve our frequency. So I'm looking at creating, 528 hertz music, and I'm inviting. I saw one of my friends, David Kennett, in here is a beautiful musician, but I'm inviting musicians to reach out and be part of the app. Put a lullaby together, give an angel hug through your music. We'll put it in the app, and obviously link back and help the artists. I'm going to be doing meditations. I will be the voice of Hug Angel, I suppose, the Hug Angel, the Allura at least. But I'm going to have other teachers, my wisdom teachers and friends and people like yourself, to be on the app and teach tools and things for not only the children, but the parents and adults who have the app, because that support is so needed. And I just feel that
yeah.
it, there's ways to reach into that, and she's going to have a speaker that goes in her too, so it's coming from her, right? So parents can go, hey, let's go sit with Hug Angel. It's time for bed. Let's go chill out. Let's see what Hug Angel has to say tonight. And it becomes almost like this routine that's new to connect with of our higher nature, a symbol of faith, but not faith around religion. It doesn't have to be just religion, because again, the minute we go into religion, now we create separation, because you're this and I'm that, and now we're different. I'm here to say, let's level the playing field and say, can we just all find the common denominator where we are light and love, We are this frequency of consciousness that is saying you are animated life, and that matters. And that is what the message of being a hug angel is: healing universal grief through hearts united with grace and goodness and gratitude and generosity and glee. All the G's, and God, right? Some people would call that God too. And that's the mission. And I'm just inviting people to say, okay, yeah, I'm for that. Because the other thing I'll share, Mimi, is we vote with our dollar. Where we put our energy as currency of love into the frequency of money, and how that goes and informs what we're growing in this world and supporting, we support a lot of things that do not support us. A lot of things.
Yes.
You know this, right? So this is one of those things that supports us, right? This is designed to be that thing that's coming right back at you to support you. And my feeling is we need more elements like that, things to invest our currency into. The greatest currency is our consciousness. Everything comes from that. So to me, hug angels are representing us giving back into that light that is always there supporting us, that life force that's always there supporting us. It's a way to hug our angels back, if you will, because the angels are always around us, whether we know that or not. I know there might be some atheists tuning in. I'm just going to say there is an immortal element. And I had to prove it to myself. I was skeptical like anybody, and it took a while. I'm not going to lie. But there is absolutely an immortal intelligence that's not bound to a physical mortal coil. It is always running, and it hears you. It records everything going on. It knows you more than you know yourself sometimes, and it is always there to support us. And people will call that angels, and I'm okay with that. It's great. Let's do it. You know, but this is an opportunity to give thanks and gratitude to them, to that force. So there's some more intel on that. You know me, you ask a question, the stream's coming, it's just so it's going to come in hot. But everybody's getting fire hosed today. How do you like it, everyone? Hi, Lisa. Saying hi to a couple people in the chat. What did that catalyze for you? Did anything come to mind you wanted to share, to reflect?
The I love how you shared the putting out of energy of things that are not receiving back to us. See, that's where our internal conscious, I feel, is not so intentional. If I'm all about collaboration, not competition. I'm always the one who's always willing to, you know, help, embrace, let's work on this project. And everything that I've ever done was with intention, including being a mother. It was
Yeah.
my purest intention as a child to want to be a mom.
Mm-hmm.
And well, fast forward, it's changed a little bit, but I am still a mom to the collective, to those that resonate with my energy, those that, you know, embrace me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a mom. I'm a mama warrior, I guess. So, and the things that I do are always with intention. My books, my writings. I just completed 7 stages of grief meditations that
Oh,
are on
wow.
Spotify and Apple.
Well,
So
we
I
might have to
took
think about getting those in the app. I'm just saying.
the
Figure
7
that out. We can talk
the,
about it. At
yeah,
least a
the
couple of them,
7
right?
sta well, there's the 7 stages of grief. Each meditation has to do with the express, the meditate, the be present. So each meditation um, is meant for each word in that, you know. And so intentionally, even like the cover of my DVD or whatever you want to call them today, because they're on Apple and they're on Spotify. The cover is a photo that my photographer took of me carrying my son's shoes, walking away. Like it was so intentional, like because everything I do today is really for him. I don't even know how you would, like I often, like, ask myself, like, if Nikki was still with us, what would I be doing? Probably,
Mhm.
taking care of his children. Because I just think about those things because it doesn't exist in my life. I'm needing a whole a house full of hug angels when they come out. Like, I want every hug angel that you have birthed.
Well, whenever a name is spoken, I want to go back a little bit. Let's talk about the numbers too in a second. I'll remind myself to do that. But whenever a name is spoken, in my work, a name is a key. A name opens up almost like a portal or a stream, or like almost like a call sign on a radio station. It's like you're tuning into that specific frequency, that specific consciousness. So when you mention him by name, not just your son by name, Nikki, that stream came in for me. So I want to gift you just with the knowledge that, and this was something that I came to terms with just a few days ago, and I'll share that story too. But he's always with you. He's always within you. It's part of you. You're literally cellularly connected at the DNA level, right? I don't know if you know how that works, but you're connected. So all of that consciousness is always in exchange, and he's always supporting everything you're doing. And you're always supporting him as well. And that's what I think a lot of people don't realize when they've lost loved ones is there's this entanglement that happens that can never be disentangled. It can never be severed. And what I'm feeling from this beautiful soul of your son is how powerful he was and what impact he is making in conjunction with you, in partnership with you. Like he's your partner in shine, right? And he's also showing me this idea of lifting you up, literally lifting you up at times. All right, mom, let's get going, right? It's this energy of lift, like I call it the wing lift, right? We all need a wing lift sometimes. We always need someone to give us a wing lift at times. Everyone does. But this is the beauty
Yeah.
of that is that what I get is he came in to be that person or that being for you on the other side. So you would always have this extra wing lift because your mission is huge. You didn't come in to play small, Mimi. You came in to play out loud and large. And for those people who are light leaders like yourself, who are here in the world to make impact, there is a team around you. We all have a team, and he's a massive part of your team. You know this. I'm not telling you anything you don't know. I'm just giving you
Now
confirmation
it's
that, you know,
right. Validation.
yeah. And seven, you mentioned seven. Seven is a very highly charged, highly spiritual number. You can kind of think of it like a lightning bolt, the symbol of a lightning bolt, the bottom of a lightning bolt,
Yes.
making really powerful impact. So, seven vibrations, I don't have it on now, but I oftentimes will wear a 777. Like, I came to do impact, I came to be the storm, right? People keep talking, like, especially in certain groups, the storm is upon us, this concept. And I'm like, I am the storm. Like that's the attitude I have about life. And it doesn't mean the storm is a nasty thing or a scary thing. It's like I came to make impact. I came to change this world to the best of my ability and leave a legacy of light to the best of my ability while I'm here to support and assist people in letting go of the BS belief systems that they've been programmed with for far too long. They've adopted these belief systems of others. They've given their authority ways to others instead of just plugging in direct and going, hi, I'm firewired in, got it, I know what I'm here to do, go. That's what we're all capable of doing. But we've been robbed from the, I don't know, okay, here I am. Sometimes when we speak truth to power, there will be resistance. The resistance is futile, as Magdalene likes to
I
say.
I'm glad that you said that because yes, I am in such belief about the interruptions
Hmm.
from beyond.
Yeah. Um, I want to say
Continue.
this. Yeah, this is an important one. In our technology, I can say what people would call the passengers, the entities of life, the energies that are, I would call the counter light intelligence, the ones that are not here for the light, but they're here to hold the opposite. It is their job to do so on a duality based planet. It's not here to, we're not here to demonize them or make them bad. It's just that's their nature. Dark does what dark does, right? It's its job, right? Gravity, you could say, would be another way of pulling things down into, form. Doesn't make gravity innately bad. It's what it does. So I want to get people really neutral to some degree about how they feed consciousness into these concepts to give things bigger than life energy when they're like this little tiny dust bunny that nothing to me, irrelevant. That's how I want to see it. That's how I teach it. When we give it power, it will take it. It will absolutely take our power from us if we will it into it because we're giving it attention, we're giving it word, we're giving it frequency. A lot of this energy is in our tech now. It's retreated into the tech because the solar energies of this planet have gotten so fierce and so intense that it's not comfortable for that energy. The dark doesn't like the light coming in all the time, right? Think of it. It's the opposite. So it's going to retreat into the shadow elements of areas of comfortability. And what I mean by that is in tech, into the phones, into the screens. Think of it. It's a black screen before the light comes in. Okay? It's where it's comfortable. So that said, this goes back to what I was saying earlier. A lot of us are getting addicted to our screens and it keeps us in our little boxes, right? It doesn't allow us to engage. We're down here looking at this. Oh, wait, what am I missing? Right? So I'm really inviting people to look at their lifestyle or their light style and think about how much time are you connecting with others? Are you texting everybody or do you actually make the extra effort to make a phone call? I leave a lot of
Mm.
voice notes for people, and people sometimes get irritated because they want to read it right away. But for me, the frequency of my voice has healing in it. So I actually am gifting them the frequency because I'm connected to what I'm connected to, saying, here's some medicine for you today. I don't know what you need, but it's coming through. And it might just be a quick voice note, right? But that's because I'm aware of how I operate. So I do that on purpose versus always texting, right? Which has less connection. So I invite people to think about these things of how can they connect more? Because we've been put through the ringer of disconnection now where people are in their homes. They don't leave their homes as much, right? They're like, I don't want to, they're just uncomfortable. So this is what Hug Angels again are going to be about. It's a connection, hug. Did you hug today? Right? And it's just the
You
reminder that
talked
if you
about
don't feel, mhm,
the 28-second hug. I
yeah,
am a hugger and I love to hug. I
mm-hmm,
really love to hug.
okay.
I hug trees. Like I really love to hug. So when you talked about the frequencies of the 28-second rule, um, I got like so excited about that because you shared that. I knew about it, but I didn't know the depths and the science behind it. And I
Yeah.
think that's important for everybody. Nikki used to, I mean, that boy gave me a hug 2, 3 times a day. And the other interesting, beautiful part about him is that he was so aware. Now, he was a life path 33.
Mm.
He used to kiss me every day right here, right on the third eye. I don't even think back then he knew what that even meant. I didn't even probably know what it meant back then. He just always just kissed me on the forehead. Every time he left the house, that's what he would do. I love you, Mom. Every day. He didn't miss a beat.
So that 33 is obviously very powerful in many ways. Numbers get hijacked, by the way, for every power that comes through these numbers. And I work with numbers a lot in my work. I do a modality, and I know we're not here to talk about this right now, but I'm going to, called halonetics. And halonetics I developed around something I call the halo method, or halo, which is your holographic assembled light organization that can be harmonically aligned and light optimized. Okay. Angels like acronyms. I don't know what to tell you. It's just what it is. Everything's encoded. So I started knowing that these numbers were coming through. A friend of mine had turned me on to somebody who was teaching numbers, but they were kind of static and like, this number means this, right? Kind of like numerology. It had a meaning. But what it catalyzed for me was a remembrance of a technology that another aspect of my lineage, you could say, already knew how to use. I just didn't know, but I was reminded. And then it started that I was capable of starting to pull in numbers, almost like you would pull in source code, right? To reharmonize and reorganize what I call the halo energy rapidly. And what's interesting is there are certain vibrations that definitely have, I guess you would call a meaning enough, right? 33 being the Christ code, I guess you would call it, right? And that Christ code is really about the crystallization of light. And the reason it's the crystallization of light is three, the triad. Some people call this the triple goddess, but the three is these three streams: platinum, titanium, and rose gold. Platinum and titanium being the masculine, feminine, or feminine, masculine, platinum being the feminine. And this rose gold is this core current that is always just streaming in, right? That is like your immune system on an energetic level. I call it your angelic immunity. And when they work together in this harmony and this vibration and they're in balance, you are like super powered up, right? You're really harmonized. And then there's the wobbles, the imbalances. And we're in a massive wobble on the planet right now in these frequencies. And we're moving it, we're doing our best to move it into this harmony. So when I look at things though, as the numbers, it's almost like the numbers know, okay, right here we're holding a lot of density on this part of the halo. And over here too, this node over here is like really stuck. So we're going to move that out and get it all into a different free flowing state so we can get it into better harmony. So it has a process to it, right? And a lot of my work is frequency and vibration harmonies. This is the core of my teachings. I do it in angel speak because angels have image and they remind us to be lighter, literally, right? And yet I'm a little different in how a lot of teachers teach around angels because a lot of times, okay, you do this angel for this and this angel for that, right? But I'm all about let's embody the whole frequency of what creates angels. The sapphire light stream might be the frequency of Yeshua and Archangel Michael, as people know it, and things like that, right? So when we work with these energies of light, so massive, right? This power of light, and yet it's so underestimated of what it can do. And so my biggest mission started of just getting us back into aligning to light, harmonizing to light, optimizing our light. And now it's just going out to empower children because my problem right now is watching children suffer is not something I enjoy. It's not okay with me. And so if there's anything I can do to end human suffering, but specifically within the children especially, because they come in innocent light and they're just thrown in the
Yeah.
mix of all this chaos creation. I'm like, no. Somebody has to
Yeah.
speak up for them. Somebody has to be that kind of guardian angel in a sense, right? And I invite everybody to be that. I invite everybody to
You
be
are
hug
the
angels
angel
like me,
mama. No,
right?
you're the angel
Like, come on,
mama.
hug angels. Somebody said that to me the other day. That's funny you said that. Yeah, it's a little bit like that. But yeah, somebody has to be the temple in this crazy circus right now. But you know, there's always one to do that for whatever mission is needed on the planet. So I volunteer to be that. And
I
yet I'm also
volunteer to
speaking
be
something. Go ahead.
are you do you speak light language?
I do.
I I
I do.
think
And I call it heart streaming. There's so many different ways of saying this. You know, if you look at it in the religious context, you're going to call it speaking in tongues. I always found that sounded a little odd to me. It didn't make me comfortable. So I don't say that. And light language, I almost say, feels almost very connected to cosmic, galactic. Like I speak Palladian or I speak, you know, and that's not what I do. So I call it heart streaming or heart song, heart singing, really. And the reason I call it that is I just go deep into my heart and I allow the expression of my voice to express what my heart is expressing in that moment. And because I weave different frequencies of light, which you could say I weave different angels, right? Angles, I just express that as my medicine from my soul to another. And I'll do a little demonstration here before we close today, but that's a really important element of what I call angelic shamanism or harmonic shamanism, is that shaman being one who knows, a claircognizant, one who knows more than, you know, maybe some in certain fields. And I specifically know a lot about the harmonics of the universe and angelic frequencies and that. So that's why I say that about myself. But I prefer just calling myself the hug angel, really. But yeah, to work with grief, this is an interesting one. They're saying you want to bring in more joy, of course, but sometimes you can't just go from grief to joy. You got to go through the expression of the grief and allow that
Yeah.
grief to flow through you. So I highly recommend singing for people, even people who don't think they can sing. I'm not considered a singer, right? I think I took 5 singing classes in my life, lessons. But still, getting your voice through, super important, super important. Um,
I my my aunt used to speak in tongues when I was younger,
mhm,
and I used to love to listen to it. I didn't know what she was doing. I thought it was like it was definitely not Pig Latin because I would listen to her and it was so beautiful the way she spoke. So, and now I see so many individuals on social media doing the light language, and I'm like, some I connect with, and some
mhm.
I'm like, no, I just don't. Like, it's weird. So, I'm
Yeah,
I just
I can,
find it to
I can.
be a very interesting.
Yeah, I have one of the team members to speak to that really quick. Is it's because some are coming through their mind and some are coming through their heart. Some are putting it on too much. They haven't fully connected or integrated yet enough that they're still up in here to think through a little bit, right? That language and almost process it like an interpreter. And it might just be information wanting to come through, but it's still going through what I call the mental construct. Whereas the ones who are going to resonate, especially with someone like yourself and where you feel it, it's because it's coming through the heart. It's coming through the non-thinking. It's just
Yeah.
flowing through. And they're just allowing. They're being the vessel, they're being the instrument without getting involved. And that's what I attempt to do at the best of my ability too. Um, that's what I'm getting for that, to explain why there's a difference. Yeah, for sure.
Well, I connect to the heart. I'm not
Mhm.
like, "Oh, like, I'm just like the heart person. Like, I connect with you on this right here, the heart.
Mhm.
I don't understand this part.
Mhm.
I know it has to come down and load and get here, but
Well, you know, this is
I'm
the kingdom. This is the kingdom. Emphasis on dumb right now because I
the
feel like it's
crown.
right. It's gotten a little dumb lately, but this kingdom, the mental has always been the dominating force. It's at the top, down, right? So the heart's been subjugated to its rule, right? And yet, what's interesting is this is really coming in now, and this is the secret weapon, if you will, not to call it a weapon, but this is the portal, this is the stargate, this is the energy center of everything of knowledge. The true gnosis or knowledge of self processes what this is conveying, but we're not taught that, right? And there's reasons for that,
No.
which I won't bore people with today. We'll have to save it for another time. But
Yeah, we're
what we're
gonna
doing
save
now,
it for
yeah, another Angel Hugs episode. But what we're doing now is like wanting to allow the heart to come forward and say, I am here. I have you. You are safe with me. It is
Mhm.
safe to feel. And it is a feminine nurturing element that you have to look at as the female, no offense to men, but has been subjugated to be beneath for far too long. This was something I was clearing the other day. You know, the women who were even these exalted queens, the majesties, right? And yet they were only as good as the babies they made. That's how they were valued. And if they didn't make babies, they were killed. This is the insanity that we've done on this planet to women, that I think the grief is so deep in women right now that needs to come up more than ever. And I know for myself, I was processing it because I have lineage in many different bloodlines, like English, Irish, Scottish, French, Cherokee, you name it, I have lineage. Okay. I'm like a real, like, talk about a mutt. But the reason for that is so that I can tune into certain elements of that and work on it. And I work on it
yeah,
by working on myself and diving in. And I did this the other day. This is an important lesson, actually, for many, maybe, that for hug angels, I haven't had children in this lifetime. When I was a child and young girl, I was afraid to have children. I thought I could die having a child. I was terrified of getting pregnant. And when I was married, I never did get pregnant, and I never did have children. Much to the chagrin of mom, who's watching. Sorry, mom. But this doll represents something that I'm literally bringing into the world, creating, almost like a baby, like a kid, right? It's like, here they are. I hope you guys like them, right? And yet, what I found was within my lineage so many lifetimes of loss of children, stillborns, miscarriages, dying in childbirth. I mean, tremendous trauma in the female line of my lineage, that having this and putting it out there, it's like, oh, what if it kills me? Literally, that was like a belief down deep in the crevices. This is the shadow work I talk about, that got to get in there sometimes. I went, ooh, this is a nugget that I don't need anymore. This is something that's a frequency blocker that I'm not interested in holding anymore, right? So I'm sharing this because we create things without us even knowing we're creating them, because they're in the subconscious or they're in the DNA. They're in the file folders. And if we never go in there because we're like, I'm fine, everything's good, I'm fine, and we just deny and stuff it, all we're going to do is create a big giant rage bomb, I call it. Eventually that thing's going to go off. It has to. Your body will not tolerate it. It's going to say, get that out, right? So that was what I had to look at. And even though I haven't lost a child in this life, I went deep into that experience, Mimi. The other day, I was just so, because again, how I do things is I create this holographic halo experience, like in the imagination, I see all sorts of stuff, and it's wild and it's intense, but it's important work for myself. And I know that in working on myself, I'm serving the world because we're all connected.
yes.
So I honor all
Have
the women watching who have been working and doing the work on their wounds and their grief. And it's up right now. It is really up right now at a collective level. Go ahead.
do you find yourself working with clients that help you elevate in your own journey?
Absolutely. Every client that comes to me is a reflection of myself in some capacity. Either an old version of me that I've already worked on, but maybe needs some refreshing, because you're always like, oh, you just missed a spot right there. Oh, yeah, okay. And so something will come up, on display, and we work on it. And it's always serving both of us, no matter what. My favorite thing is to work with clients that are change makers, here to really do
Yeah.
really good work in the world, right? And assist them in amplifying whatever they're here to do at the frequency level. So
Yes.
what they're doing for self is now going into the collective more. Like, the world has its own halo, right? Every country has its own halo. Every tree has its own halo. It's all like these spheres of light around everything. People call these bubbles of light. It's much more complicated than that, but that's okay. So everything, this whole halo network, if you will, of these spheres touching spheres. They're all touching. They all touch. They all touch, and everything connects, right? Well, we're all plugged into that. And so when
Mm.
somebody comes in and they want to build a new technology, sometimes I work with people who have tech behind them, right? Or they want to build a new company or whatever they're building, it's always going to be paramount that they realize that halo factor, the halo effect of it, right? What is going to amplify their impact, accelerate it. We can accelerate it too. We can increase its exponential, impact in the world. And so this is where we get into what I call Magdalene manifestation, Magdalene mastery. And Magdalene represents not the woman Mary Magdalene as much as it represents what I talked about earlier, this fortress, this pillar, this tour de force, this tower of light, this bridge between what I call the lower densities, or the matter, heavier densities, and the higher angelic or heavenly densities. And we're all really striving to be that, whether we know it or not, to figure out how to connect, be bridges between others, be bridges between the high and low, all of it. Just be more connected. But not in the artificial way through technology as much as through what I call that angelic intelligence, through telepathic. That's all just training us to get to the telepathic. Advanced societies and advanced civilizations on this planet, and maybe beyond as well, were telepathic. The Aboriginals are telepathic, many of them, the ones that know what they're doing. So
Yes.
there's so much, right? I mean, we could go on for days and unpack a lot of things, but I would just say um, my excitement about Hug Angels is that they're going to serve us in that connection to the light that we are. They're going to be serving as reflections, right, of just how loved we are, and reflections of the angel within us that's always there, switched on, turned on, ready for service. Like, okay, what do you need? I'm here. And I just feel that it's a really empowering way to teach kids. I'm going to actually teach children how to turn on their halo, activate it, and use their halo. I do it already, but I mean, in mass, right, through the app. And so that they can bubble themselves up when they go to school and not feel every little thing that they're feeling. Because these children coming in now are way more sensitive, if you want to call it sensitive or aware, than ever before. They're advanced, high vibrational souls coming into these bodies and going, well, what am I doing here? And
Yes,
it
and
can
I
be
and I
intense for them.
that resonates a lot with me because of my such strong desire of just, like, wanting to always be a mom for many. I always go back to that, but what I see, I just turned 58 years old, and I observe a lot on social media. I listen, I observe, I don't react, and we have these young children coming into this world, but do you feel like we need to touch the parents, teach them a little bit more about awareness of that little being, of perhaps, not teaching them how to be a parent, but, I work a lot with young adults,
Mhm.
single mom ally over here because I was a single mom. I know how difficult it is to raise children on your own. And I'm familiar with the parent alienation, all of it. It's so stressful to bring those little innocent lives into this chaotic darkness.
Yeah. I
It
think,
it and it the bullying, the har it and then they bring it to school, and then they start bullying because they're so affected of it from home. Watching the parents constantly, you know, I'm pretty seasoned, both in childhood and being mom. that make
I
sense?
feel that's part of the reason why the app came through. When my angels brought me, my guides, my counsel brought me the idea of hug angels, um, it didn't have the app right away, right? And because feel like they know me better by now, that if I get everything at once, it's too overwhelming and I might not do it. It's like, just give me a little bit at a time, please, right? Because I have a lot already on my plate with my Angelic Academy and other things I do. So now they're, oh, like a doll, like really, So it started with a doll. And then as I got in, suddenly it was like, and here's the other piece, and the app came in and I went, oh. And I realized with the app, it is going to be an educational tool for the parents as much as it is for the kids, because they're all going to be in that same idea of empowering themselves at that frequency level, right? And they'll all sit and do the meditations, and it's all just love coming into them and pouring into them. So it's a little like a Trojan horse, maybe, for some, because she's going in unassuming, like, hi, I'm a little doll that you hug, but there's going to be this other element to her that makes her very special, because it's connected to not only me and what I teach as this universal love concept, right? To be this universal neutralizing common denominator energy, but other teachers that can come in, like yourself, that have put their 10,000 hours, as people say, into whatever they know and what they live through and their experiences, right? And it'll be curated to find the best of the best, people that really know what they're talking about, not just people who took a few classes or went to a retreat one weekend and then decided, oh, I'm going to be this now. And they're not ready for prime time. They just put themselves out there and see what happens, right? Um, so, that's an important part too. Integrity is an important part of it. But I do feel that um, what you're talking about with mothers, especially and parents, and the challenges they have, I will be honest with you. I am so grateful that I'm not a parent in today's day and age. I don't know what I would do. There are places right now, just knowing who I am as this guardian element, I'd want to burn them down just for hurting children. I'd be like, not happy. I'm just going to tell you. Like, I'd go from hug angel to hurt angel probably faster than I'd want to, because there'd be like things that they're doing to kids. And I'm like, no, I'm so sorry, but not okay, right? And so everyone's really lucky. I guess I'm not a mom. No, I'm kidding. But I'm just telling you, it's very difficult. I have such compassion for parents today, not just moms, but dads too. Parents, single dads. I mean, shout out, figuring it out in today's day and age. What do I feed them? Do I give them this medicine or that? Or like, I'm not going to get into the controversial elements, but I'm just going to say it's difficult. And
It
then you
is.
have the factors of the ADD and the ADHD and all the labeling that's given to kids now, and the autism, the spectrum. These are rainbow children. They're spectrum. That's what they are. They're spectrum of love coming in and saying, hi, I'm going to show you what love looks like without all the
Oh, I
mental
love that.
fabrication.
I love that.
Lisa,
I
who's in here,
love
has a
what you just
beautiful
said.
son. Go ahead.
I the children that come into this world today are rainbow children. They are I
Absolutely.
love how you just shared that, because I observe and I see, and oh my goodness, that was so beautifully shared.
Michael's coming in right now, and he's saying the audacity. This is what he's saying. I'm going to speak it now. Be prepared, everyone. When
Ah,
Michael comes in, Mikael's one of my core integrated, like I hold his current the most. He's saying the audacity of any individual on this planet to think that they can create one food, one medicine, one solution to serve all, when everyone is as unique as a fingerprint or snowflake, when everyone has very specific genetics, DNA, right? And then also the frequencies of who they are and the lineage of light that they hold and the mastery of that light that they've already done for eons, not just on this planet, he's saying. To have the audacity that you think, and I'm not speaking to anyone here personally, the audacity to think that you are going to have one size fits all is folly. It just is. It's a fool's game. And it's a dangerous one in certain cases. because what you give your child should be unique to them based on what they require at a frequency level, the type of foods they eat, the type of medicines they receive, very specific. So to think it's like, we're just going to do this to everybody is dangerous sport, because now you are playing with not just what's going on in the physical body, but what's going on in the quantum nature of these masterful beings that you have underestimated the power of who they are, what they are, and how they serve, and what they came in to do, to elevate and accelerate the ascension of this planet and to assist her in her elevation. So what I'm getting from that, thank you, Michael, what I'm getting from that really is we had a big lesson and a lot of us failed. A lot of us failed that one. It's okay. We got many more to come. We have other lifetimes we'll get it right. That's not about beating ourselves up, but I'm just going to say this. The children who have a lot of allergies, all of that, a lot of that has to do with toxicity. I could speak for days on DNA renewal and plant-based diet and, or more plant, let's call it more plant diet. I think some children require balances of things. So again, unique like a fingerprint. And so to have judgment about what they're eating or not eating, when people get into that, that's not ideal. But absolutely getting more plugged into the planet through plants, because they are the foundational intelligence coming in. They hold the network of the field of the halo of the planet. So the more plugged in you are to that intelligence, the better. And this is why the soils are depleted and they're poisoned on the regular. So we can't do that. So we have to go to other levels to get that done now. And that's a whole other conversation. But there are solutions. There's always solutions. There's always pathways. And I'm giving all of this knowledge today so that people realize that we can't lose faith. Faith is a frequency that's very important. And it's not about giving faith away to any other external authority, a church, a Bible, a being. Don't give it to them. Hold it. Because when you hold faith within yourself, then you get to belief. See, puppies are Capri.
See that? I'm so sorry about that.
No, don't be. Please don't. My dogs do stuff like that too. They're like, exclamation, thank you, red light, like,
Yeah, but
pay
you were
attention.
going so well. Oh, I
Yeah.
want to hear the rest of it. Sorry about that.
No, it's fine. But faith is just foundational to belief, to knowing. Everyone, the goal is knowing. And I don't mean to put it up here. Knowing down here in the heart. The knowing. I know my word is law. When I speak my word, it's going into form. Period. I know that to be true. Doesn't mean I'm always perfect. I'm a human. I'm going to say things that I probably don't mean sometimes. But I'm telling you, I know I have impact at a bigger level because I own that knowledge and I am responsible for it. When we don't know, we're saying words all over the place. We're saying things we don't think, we're not conscious. We're just like, whatever, we don't care. And it's because we're not taking accountability for the power that we are and the truth of what we are, which is these masterful beings of light that are having human experience.
How can you help someone through this process? Because with your Angelic Academy, it's a very profound journey for one to make that commitment. It's a big commitment.
My angels are very chatty. I apologize. I don't mean to cut you off. It's a first step. The first step, I'm actually doing a free webinar coming up. It's called the Halo Method. So it teaches people the basics that third. So I'll be posting some stuff in Spiritual Empath for your groups. I'll be putting it in, of course, in my own Angelic Academy, and people can find me at the Hug Angel on Instagram to find all my links of the things I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be at Conscious Life Expo this weekend, or not this coming weekend, I think, yeah. next weekend, actually, not this one, the following, to do some journeys there
And
and to
that's
teach.
out on the West Coast.
Yeah, this is in LA. For those in LA, come out and see me, give me a hug. But yeah, I mean, at the Hug Angel on Instagram is probably going to be the best place to find my core website links and all the things going on. I do put it also in Facebook. So Facebook, I have many pages. Hug Angels is the group for these now, and everybody who believes they are Hug Angel, that they're here to heal and harmonize the unresolved or universal grief. Um, and then we have also my personal page, Stephanie Lodge, the Hug Angel, or Stephanie Ann Lodge is my private kind of friendship page. All gets so confusing. I'll be honest. I took a break from Facebook for a few years and created my own network called the Angelhood because I just couldn't be bothered. There was all the trolling and debating, and I just couldn't be bothered. I'll be honest with you. So I'm hoping things have kind of like, we'll see how it goes, but I'm coming back in a little bit more. I'm dipping my toe in. But yeah, that's where people start the Halo method. It's the best place to kind of just see if it resonates, you know?
Well, listening to you and having you come on live and share you with the community, we're also super grateful. We want to see more of you because I think it's not just important, it's what's the word I want? It's required.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm excited. I'm excited to be joining Spiritual Empath. I'm excited for this episode of Angel Hugs to be the first episode on your platform and in the world. Really, I put it on my YouTube today. It's the first episode. It's going to go out to Conscious Awakening Network, which I'm excited about, which is a new network that I'm going to be a part of, similar to a Gaia or something of that nature. Conscious creation, right? Getting us more mindful. Um, and I'm going to keep it really simple right now, everyone. Be kind. Not to sound like Ellen DeGeneres, but it is true. We have to really realize kindness and goodness is our very nature. Everything else is a cry for help. Everything that we do when we attack others and get mad and angry, it's actually not the true expression of what we are. It's this human element that's been assembled and has all the triggers and all the things going on, right? That hasn't been worked on enough. It hasn't been tuned like an instrument. So do your best. You know, I have my days, everyone does. We're all going to have our days where we're going to lose it. We're going to have things happen. I go back to what's your bounce rate? You know, how quickly can you get back up? How quickly can you get back into alignment? But you need tools for that, absolutely. And that's what I do teach about. So we will be bringing these tools through the Hug Angel, meaning the app, Angel Hugs, through this type of conscious sharing, you know, having episodes like this more. I've been really angel undercover for far too long. And the reason for that is because there was a lot of, you know, heavy artillery, let's call it, in that soup. And I just wasn't up for it. I thought, I'm just going to do my stuff on the down low, keep everything going, you know. But now it's time. I've been asked to rise into more of a forward leaning nature. So I'm doing that. And I appreciate you providing a space for me to come out in that way. I've come out a lot of spiritual closets over the years, but this is a really exciting one. And yeah, I'm just really grateful for you, Mimi. It's been such a pleasure and an honor to dive deep with you in private and to be able to dive deep and allow you to hold this space, because I wanted to hold space for you as well, you know, in the work that you're doing as the grief warrior. And I know that there was a definite dominance of Hug Angel today, but I want to, at some point, when we figure out what we're doing with the app and everything you're doing, to really have you back on Angel Hugs at least, and really talk about how I can support you more so, right? Obviously, you're getting out there today a little bit, but yeah, give you more of
Yes,
a voice.
I
But I know
I'm
today we're celebrating. We're so excited. It's her birthday. So.
it's Alora's birthday today. 2/2/2024, all twos, all
It's
beautiful
a four,
angel
four, four.
numbers. Hold her
Yeah.
up, hold her up and I
Yeah.
cannot wait for her
I'm
to
trying to
come
figure
into
out how to
my
get her
world, and
in.
she's so beautiful.
And then she has this like
And
kind of, you can kind of feel this. Now this part, I want to say she's prototype, so I'm going to show you some things that are funny. So um, her body, this part down is going to be in a blue that matches her eyes. This like blue tone in here, these blues, the sky blue. Because I want to be very clear, she doesn't really have a gender. Angels are genderless, let's be honest, but we give them construct of that. That's fine. But in her case, I am referring to her as a her because I'm giving her more of a feminine vibration. Um, but they are designed to represent the light in everyone. This isn't about our race or gender so much. It's about the light in us. So I just want to remind everybody of that. So that's why she's really bright. Okay. But this down is going to be in a blue to indicate where she, she comes from, the cosmic or the heavenly or whatever you want to call it. And then her diamond heart is that pocket. I mentioned that earlier. She has this little Velcro pocket here. And this is a really special feature. Um, it's to put notes into your angels. It's like prayers of intention. It's to actually, maybe you have a wish or a prayer and intention that you want to manifest in the world, right? So you could put notes to Nikki in there, right? And she'll hold space, and it's almost like a delivery agent. But also something as simple as an engagement ring to be gifted, and what a surprise that would be, right? And or baby teeth. When children lose their baby teeth, it's like, okay, let's have Hug Angel get into the tooth fairy, right? So there's almost like a new element of routine that can be created with Hug Angel that I think, the Hug Angels, that'll be really beautiful to have as that companion and that bridge, that connection. And all sorts of trinkets, treasures, crystals. You could put little sachets, in there that smell good, whatever you want, but it's space to just hold something precious. And that's the purpose of it, right? And then the back will have a zipper. This one, again, prototyping, didn't get the zipper yet. But this one, the next ones will have a zipper in the back, and that's where the top will be for the speaker and the bottom will be for the crystal hugs. I call them pouches, these little square crystal. They can be used outside the body, outside on the body and also in the doll. So they're, accessories. And she comes in her own halo bag. Yes, more halo. And that has a beautiful design in that it's a backpack so kids can carry her on their back. And she has a window, so she's not totally in shadow. She has a little window and she'll be watching, right? Watching their back literally while they carry her around. So
aw,
that'll be how they can carry her with them. Like if they're going to the airport with mom and dad or whatever, they always have her with them. And so that's going to be the bundle right now for launches: the bag, the doll, and the crystals inside her. That's going to be the main launch bundle to get this company going and get these angels made. And every doll matters. So for those of you who think, I don't really need a doll, I'm like, well, if you believe in our mission, get a doll for somebody or get a gift card for someone. Valentine's Day is coming up. We have gift cards you can get them and say, this is coming soon. It's not now, but it's coming, because it is going to be like a crowd fund, like a Kickstarter. And we're going to build and build this month, and then order all the dolls and get them here. And it's going to take time. So I'm going to be really, really honest. You're not ordering this for 2-week delivery. This is going to take quite a few months to get them here. And I look at that as an opportunity for us to hold greater faith, to hold greater patience, and to hold a collective intention, right? To really see them coming into the world and getting
yes.
excited and anticipation, right? So,
When we get the angel, when we get the hug angel, when we receive the hug angel, is it Alora or do we
Mhm.
name our hug angel? It's
No, it's
Alora
Laura.
is the first. Okay.
So Alora, okay, so I want to explain how this works. So I tune in and I get the name of the doll, right? And Alora was the first name that came through. Alora exists as an angelic force of light in the cosmos, in the universe. What these serve as are these instruments to kind of send that light everywhere, all over the world, which is this consciousness that's really about dreaming through light, visualizing and
Hmm.
dreaming awakening reality as light, and recognizing light as a massive superpower. So Alora represents like everyone's going to have their own Allura, because it's almost like this is the representative or a surrogate for this massive consciousness of love and support. That is that light. And so these dolls are going to be the originals. So I'm sure they'll be collectible someday. But yeah, so it's really, really exciting. Somebody says, I want to see her. Now, this is funny. So see these right here? She does not need a shave, guys. Okay. These were supposed to be down here on the like little ripples over her heart, like the heart's giving off, kind of vibration. And the person who did these decided they should go here. I don't know why. It's just to be funny. I think it's hysterical. But anyway, so what's going to happen is these will actually on your doll be down here. And what my cousin discovered, she went like this and she started pinching. She's like, what's these? And she started pinching. And the arms, did that. And I went, oh my God, I didn't even know the doll did that. So she's going to have these little ripples down closer to the heart so that, yeah, it makes sense, obviously, to put them there. So that when you pinch, she does this. So it's just another way,
These are
almost like you have a puppet, it's a way to engage a child. They're going to be safe for 3 and up. And so it's just a way to say, Hug Angel wants to give you a hug, and it's another way. And then here, her hands will have little Velcro so that they can pull the wings forward too and be safe, obviously. I had no idea. What I want to show you, actually, you know what? I'm going to show you the original OG. OG. This is one of a kind Hug Angel. Okay. This was the first one I designed.
ah,
Okay. It's the very first one I designed. And you can see she had these pom-poms. Well, this is a choking hazard. Did not know that. Didn't think about that. Just thought, cool pom-poms, right? So these are the things you learn when you're a doll designer and you're not normally a doll designer. So this was fabric I found at Costco on a unicorn onesie. So we used that. And the woman who created this for me, we went through many renditions. Someday I'll put a book together and show you guys all the different renditions, and some of them are hysterical. She looked like a bowling pin. I mean, it's hysterical. So we can design, the base to be broader, like an A, almost like an angel. And there's a lot of thought that went into it, but it's been quite the journey I've been on since 2022 to bring them here. And we're in the final, it's like the
I,
final.
re- I I remember when you shared it with me. I'm
Mhm.
like, well, when you're ready, let's, what, like when you shared it, I just loved the concept, the idea of how you're
Mhm.
birthing this beautiful little divineness of light,
Yeah.
bringing light into the children, and you talk about the children and sharing it with, it's just like magical.
And
How
one
do
thing one thing I want to tell everybody really quick is if you buy your doll in February, if you're really like, I call you the first waivers, right? The ones that are like, I'm in, I'm supporting, what can I do? I'm a hug angel, let's do this. I want to reward that by giving you a free Bluetooth speaker. So the speaker, the Heartstream speaker, will be free in the month of February. So any doll purchased in the month of February, it has to be an actual doll. So you want to buy the doll. Gift cards, again, I don't know what's going to happen with those. So it's something I have to be careful about. There's certain rules and things, those rules that they make. So, um, but if you get the doll bundle, the launch bundle, then you'll get the free speaker included. And, so that'll be great. That's a really nice value. It's an extra $22 value that people get. And I'm excited to make sure people can get that, because then they can have the option of taking it in or out of the doll, using it. It has lights on it, so they can put it outside the doll too, which is fun. But so that way they can use the app when the app comes out, which will be coming out right around the time they get the doll. So maybe I'll get it out a little earlier. We'll see.
you know, what's coming to mind
Mm.
is social workers in St. Jude's Hospital.
Mm-hmm.
Social workers, the community is expansive.
Yeah.
And I know that you talked about affiliates. I am definitely an affiliate in this journey for the Hug Angels. However, if
Mm-hmm.
there is a way to we'll keep talking about this, bringing this into the community, social workers, children's hospitals, all of them. I
Yeah.
mean, they have lots of money to donate,
Hmm.
lots of money,
Yeah.
uh, purchasing them for the children that are,
Mhm.
I think of my son Nicky and all those little children on 9 East and at NYU when he used to have chemo. I used to sit with these children because their parents were either working or they just didn't, they were by themselves. A lot of them were having chemo, and it like wouldn't it be just such a beautiful embrace to have a hug
Yeah.
angel?
I mean,
And
my goal, I mean, we have 140 million orphans around this world and climbing every day. Okay. And that's orphans. That's not counting the children in hospitals. I mean, there's so many children in need. So I'm absolutely, I have it on my website that people can reach out if they want to fundraise with them, if they want to, donate and buy a bunch of angels for an organization. All of that's possible, right? Obviously, right now during our launch phase, it's on a delay, right? That's the only thing I want to be really clear with people, because it takes time shipping them here and everything. But what I will say is I envision them in hospital gift centers at some point, right? So when people are going into a hospital, there's going to be hug angels there they can bring to the room, and all of those things. Of course, that's what they're
yeah,
perfect for. There's so many things that hug angels can be used with, for people to just have that comfort. And obviously, there's teddy bears and there's other dolls. This isn't the plushie concept isn't new, but what's different with hug angels is that there's an energy to her. I don't know how to explain it other than people feel it when they touch her and they hug her. There's an energy there because of the frequency involved in how she was made and the intention behind her. And I'm going to just be honest, a lot of dolls aren't made like that, right? They're just like, let's just get them done, right? So, um, my biggest happiness in all this is to know that there's going to be other hug angels like myself, like you, out there who are going to reach out, go, I want to be a hug angel. Like, how do I help? How do I get this done? I want to buy a doll, but like, what else can I do to like get this movement going and get people to know? And absolutely, join us and be a hug ambassador. And I feel that that's really what it's going to take. It's going to take a village to get her out. It's going to take all of us stepping in and not waiting for the person next to us to do it. It's going to take everybody.
the lip service. The
Exactly.
lip
A lot of people
service.
expect, oh, somebody else will do it. Oh, it's cute, and they're just like, whatever. I'm going to tell you that I've had a lot of people like, oh yeah, I want to buy a bunch. No. And it's just because it slips their mind or they have other things to do and it's not their priority. But now's the most important time to support her because to me it represents giving back to what supports us all the time. The light is always shining on us, right? And so I just feel that it's going to be really, really awesome to see how many say, yes, I want to step in and I want to be part of this movement because it is a movement and it's much bigger than me, bigger than the dolls, even. It's all of us. And how much do we want to love this world back into wholeness and heal it and have something to leave our children? And there's so much connection that we can create and so much community building, more community building that we can create around the things that Embrace is about, right? Like even eating right. I mean, there's so many things that can be expanded from it, but it requires bringing people together for a common cause. And I wanted to create a common cause that everybody could get behind because it's really just love. That's it, right?
Love wins
Love
always.
always prevails, always, absolutely. So this has been a
Well,
splendid, wonderful time, Mimi, and I know I want to let you go and back into your day. Thank you for spending such this period of time with me to really express this and get the story through because you can put only so much on a website. I feel this kind of connection, heart to heart, and expression. I work best when people are with me. When two or more gather is the idea, right? But this concept of
yes.
call and response works really well than me just like, hi, I'm Hug Angel, and I'm going to tell you about my dolls. So thank you for being that witness, and thank you for being that person to just reflect back. And I just love you so much for being here and supporting. It means the world to me, really.
Always, always. I'm here for you. I love you. I love what you give to this collective
Mm.
in this world. You have so hurt. If you're just signing on,
Mhm.
please visit Hug Angels, Stephanie Lodge. She has so much to, you know, to give her. She's just a brilliant angel that has crossed our paths here on Spiritual Empath. And I think, oh, when are we coming? When are we going to do this again?
I don't know. We'll have to figure it out. We'll have to figure out a time. But I know that what I want to do is I want to let everyone know that if you're part of the spiritual empath community and you're in the spiritual empath community, we'll be putting up a link specifically to support spiritual empath and your purchase of Hug Angels. And then if you're watching me on YouTube or on Facebook, anywhere else, then hugangels.com is the main website. But what I'm going to say is if you do purchase your Hug Angel if you purchase a Laura through Mimi's link, right, the spiritual empath link, then I will guarantee your speaker for sure you're going to definitely get a speaker, because there's going to be probably a limited supply. Eventually they're going to run out. That's the idea, right? We might sell a lot of things. So I want to make sure that everybody who's supporting, like yourself, Mimi, those people take priority in terms of making sure they get their speakers, and they'll be the first people to get the speakers, I should say. So I just want to let everybody know that. So we will post your link in Spiritual Empath Community for sure. And then the nice little 444-day angel post, right? And then they can find it easily that way if they've been watching and they're like, where do I go? So we got you. We'll take care of you.
Yes, we do. And everyone, Dragon Energy is upon us February 4th, right, Steph? You
Yeah,
mentioned that.
February 4th, the Wood Dragon, the year of the Wood Dragon. And I'm just going to say what I feel with that is it's this really grounded, wood always kind of feels like very like, we're laying some foundation in. But the dragon energies, I look at dragon as representing kind of an archetype of what I call the seraph, the seraphim, the angelics. They are massive angelic light stream forces, if you will, that pretty much build planets and build star systems, right? They're just massive energy. It's like the mainframe, if you will, of what everything else plugs into as angelic, right? So when this energy comes into a planet, it's going to be wild. It's going to be a lot to really look at as far as what are you willing to change? What are you willing to let go of? What are you willing to dissolve and release? Let going clutter, the drama, all the things I don't want to take it in, because you're architecting your reality, your new reality. So when this energy comes in, it manifests quickly. It can bring in great abundance. If you've been preparing, right, and you've been like diligently doing it, and then suddenly, boom, right, this stuff comes in. So the opportunities galore will start coming in. That's what I feel from dragons. Are very powerful in that energy. The seraph, as I say, but also to consider the world changes. The world will change as we change, and the world changes coming in this year, meaning natural events, right? We've already seen this in California where I live, these atmospheric, rivers, they call them now. But lots of water, lots of movement of energy, because Gaia herself is just ready to cleanse and purify herself. And we participating in that is very important. So the more you participate, the more you will align with where she's going. And the more that you don't and you resist, and you're like, I'm just going to keep eating garbage and I'm going to keep drinking, until I'm whatever, I can't function, this type of unconscious behavior, you're not going to be on the boat, as they say. You're not going to be on the ship. You're going to kind of be like, what happened? Where am I? So I just like to tell people, really get serious about your intentions, where you want to be in a year. This is the year to really get clear on your goals. Because dragon energy is one to take advantage of for that. It will support you in all your dreams and all your visions. And that's why I think it's a perfect time for Hug Angels. So yeah,
I'm excited
that's
for
it.
the
That's
dragon.
what I got.
I
Yeah. I work with a lot of energy. And what I will say is the dragons came in, diamond dragons specifically, and I was like, what? Because I'm angel. I'm like all angel. I'm like angels, archangels. Like, what's the dragons about? And I'll tell you this quick story before we go. I got this number, as I mentioned the numbers, right? That was 777777. All right. Now, 777 by itself is powerful. It has been hijacked for other means, though, counterlight stuff, but we neutralize that. We kind of know that we're going to reclaim it. And we do that in a way by reflecting it and doubling it up. It's like, nope, we're taking it back. So by doing that, one day I got this download for that, and I shared with a friend. I called her up. I said, I just got this 777777 for the dragons, the diamond dragons. And she said, oh, it's really interesting because you're calling me while I'm standing on Dragon Bridge in Slovenia in the city of dragons, and I'm looking at a dragon, and on the wall it says 777, the number of the dragon. And why are you calling? It's like I called her out of anybody to tell. So it was
Right.
clear that she was making the joke like, they obviously want you to get your attention, because I wasn't really sure what to make of them at first. You think dragon, you go Game of Thrones on it, right? You think, ooh, right? It's not. It's just not. That's the illusionary to say, don't go there, because that's really powerful and wisdom, and we don't want you to have that.
Right.
So, something to consider for everybody who likes to judge the things that they fear, is that fear, the false evidence appearing real, is false. And we have to start to go, what's behind there? What else do I got to look for, right? And really dig a little deeper and not take somebody's word for it, whatever the authority is that we think we trust is telling us the truth, and go, maybe I should double check that, because that's the biggest lesson that we just went through, is we gave our authority away. And that is not okay anymore. It is time to reclaim it. Because it's only when you hold your authority that you hold your sovereignty. And if somebody really wants to be free, they have to be free to make their own decisions. One of the things I'll teach people in the Halo method is how to do that effectively. So to hold
I
their
love
sovereignty.
that. I am all about, the releasing and the letting go and expressing. People have a tendency not to share, not to express, which envelops them to start judging, to blame others, holding in the spoken dialogue within you and not expressing it or being able to express it is very damaging to the mind, body, spirit. That's why I talk a lot about it in my books and sharing, and my little rant sometimes. just like, hey.
Mimi, what I love about your work is you keep it human. I go very angelic, right? I go very science and up there, but it's important to also keep it human. And I'm working on that still. We all have our strengths, and we all have the places we get to work on. And
what
I just
that's
think,
why I love balancing with you. Like, look, I'm going over to you, and I'm hugging you right now. Giving you a hug.
Giving me back. We'll both do it.
Okay.
Oh, I love you, honey. And yeah, everyone on Spiritual Empath, since you're more new to me than my other stations and stuff that we're broadcasting, I'm just going to say this. Find me at the Hug Angel on Instagram if you came in late. Reach out to me, and I also offer a free consultation. Anybody who wants to just talk to me direct and find out a little bit more about what I do, you're welcome to do that. And yeah, so much fun to be here with you. I will definitely be back soon. I'll be posting in here. Maybe I'll go live sometime, just peek in and say hi to everybody in your platform, which will be fun, and we'll do this again for sure.
Thanks so much, sweetie.
Thank you.
I'm so grateful for everybody for showing up and sharing this space, this beautiful space. And wait a minute, which way am I going? She's coming back. Our Hug Angel is coming back and sharing more with us.
I'm going to read it. I'm going to sing. I just want to say hi to some of the people in the chat feed that I can read. If I miss any of you, I apologize because I'm in a StreamYard app, so I'm not sure what will come through. But I want to say thank you to Lisa and David. It's like Romper Room if I'm aging myself. But anyway, Kelly Dawson, and hi, my mom Susanna's here. And Maddie, thank you for being here. And also Emma. Emma is such a beautiful angel in my life. Thank you, Emma, for being here. I want to be, oh, and Sandy. Hi, Sandy. Lisa Campbell. Oh, my goodness. Stephanie, another Stephanie. I love it. Stephanie Clune, thank you. Let's see, who else? Did I miss anybody? I'm just scrolling through. I'm sure there's others that didn't get to post in the comments, but I want to say thank you, all of you who came on YouTube, that came on Facebook for our first episode of Angel Hugs. I also want to say, there was one last thing I wanted to say. Note to you guys, if you are not in the United States, right now Angel Hugs are only available in the US, I know, but we will be coming into Canada and then beyond into Europe and so forth. It just takes time to get all the certificates, safety stuff, and all that in place. So just tell your friends that are in the US, have them support. Maybe they'll figure out a way to get you one. I don't know. But I legally can't get you one through the web. So I just want to say I love you, though, for being here and supporting. And yeah, just wanted to thank you all for being here. So with that, Mimi, I give you big hugs. Thank you again, sweetheart. Everybody else, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And until we hug again, I'm Stephanie Lodge, the Hug Angel, hugging you always. You're always in my heart. And I look forward to having more of these in your homes so you can feel my heart even closer. I love you. We'll talk soon. Mwah. Bye for now. Deep bows and reverence to all.